We begin with the next question in line. As a teacher, what are the special skills and knowledge required? What do you require to be a teacher?
Okay. To become a teacher, we must have the subject content knowledge. The first thing about the knowledge, that is, we must be content enough so that we can teach what we know. So otherwise we cannot teach what we don't know. And then second thing is this, and then in continuation with the knowledge, I would also say that we should be having a child psychology knowledge, so that we will be able to deal with the students in an effective way.
Child,
And when
child psychology.
yes, child psychology. And then when it comes to skill, as a teacher we must have good communication skill, so that what we know is understood or shared by us and understood by the students. And then as a teacher we also need to have lots of patience, whereby we can deal with the students properly.
Okay. So from your answer, I can hear that you have four main skills required as a
Skills and
teacher.
knowledge. Yes.
The first knowledge is knowledge about the subject that you're
Subject.
teaching. For instance,
Yes.
if you're teaching history, you must have knowledge about history. The second thing is
Child psychology.
child psychology.
Yes.
So when dealing with the children, you need to understand their psychology,
Psychology.
their
Their
brain,
behavior.
their behaviors.
Yes.
And the third thing is
We have to have patience.
patience.
And then
Okay,
communication.
patience and communication. So dealing with children, I understand, is going to be very difficult. As you said, I think we must have lots of patience, and then communication skills. Like in any profession, uh, teaching may also require communication skills, because there are lots of interactions between the teacher and the child, the teacher and the parents, the teacher and the teacher. So we need to make lots of interactions. So thank you for your response. Very good response. I would like to go on to the next question. Uh, as a teacher in Bhutan, what is the level of education required?
Uh, the level of qualification.
Yes,
The
qualifications
qualification that
required.
we require to become a teacher is, we can either have a bachelor's degree, meaning after plus 2, after 12th grade, then we go for the training for 4 years.
Okay.
And or we can have a higher education, meaning after finishing, after graduating, then we undergo 1 year of
Masters,
no
postgrad,
postgrad.
right? Postgrad
Post-
degree.
Yes.
So to become a teacher, the least qualifications you must have is a bachelor's degree,
Bachelor's degree.
and then you may have higher qualifications like postgrad and masters, and
Yeah,
maybe
then it
doctoral
goes on.
degrees
Yeah.
also. And for the next question, for another person interested in become a teacher, what would be your advice?
Now, to give an advice to a person who wants to become
yes.
a teacher,
Who wanted to become a teacher like you?
if they want to become a teacher, I should say they must be very active
Active.
and have a positive attitude towards the work,
Okay.
so that their career builds on, at the same time the students progress effectively.
So a person has to be active,
Yes,
and then
must have a positive attitude.
positive attitude towards working with children.
Children, having patience to wait for
Patience.
the low achiever
All right.
students.
All right. Having patience to deal with different
Yes.
ability students.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And now you must have already answered my question, but what kind of person would make the best teacher?
The best teacher would be definitely be an active person
An active person.
who is punctual,
punctual.
And then who is creative and good in arts, and then physical education, whereby wholesome education can be imparted to the students.
So you mean to say that a good teacher would be a wholesome person, meaning
yes.
he must have knowledges in games and sports, as well as the subject that he's teaching. And then he must be creative.
Yes.
In a way, you mean to say that he must be good in arts and crafts?
Yeah, arts and craft as
so
well.
creative arts.
Yes.
And then it would be an added advantage if he can play well in games and sports. Okay, thank you. We move on to the next question. You have been in teaching for about 2 years. What do you like the most, and what don't you like what do you like the least?
Thank you. The most thing I like being a teacher is that there is the learning goes on.
So
Because
the learning is
every
continuous.
day, yes, it is continuous, and every day we come with different topic, different knowledge, where we keep on learning as at the same time when we teach. So this is the best thing that I like about being a teacher. And the least thing that I don't like is I feel the pressure of a workload, meaning we are having lots of work to be
So
done.
your workload is very high.
Workload is high, yes.
So you already said in the previous question that you have to work for 8 long hours, and then you have a long standing hours teaching in the classroom. So the least thing you like about teaching is having to work so long. And then the most thing you like about teaching is the learning in teaching is continuous.
Continuous, yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, as a teacher, did you achieve some success? What is the most successful thing that you have achieved as a teacher?
As you already know that it's just 2 years
Okay.
of my teaching, and in that period, I should also mention that the learning progress for the students were improving drastically. And moreover, the one great success I had was I could change a behavior of a child, because the child was very problematic in the school.
Okay.
And the head of the school was complaining to me, as I was the class teacher,
All right.
about the student. So they were saying that the student is doing this, doing that, or all the notorious things that he had done. After I became his class teacher, I talked with him for quite often, which means after the class hours we stayed
So you
together.
gave him extra time.
Extra time, yes.
Oh, yeah.
We talked together. I dig out his history, and then after dealing for a month, then I can see his progress. And after a few months, there was a very good positive result from him.
Improvement in his behavior.
Improvement, yes.
So
definitely.
prior to that, the student was a very problematic one.
Yeah.
So what was the cause of his problems?
The main thing was his background. His parents were divorced, and he don't get loving care and then attention from his other family members.
All right.
So when we were talking about that, then he understands about it, and then he changes.
All right. So then, you also mean to say that you approach this problem with a human touch?
Yes.
You did help the child out of his domestic problems,
Yeah.
and then gave him more time.
Yeah. Not only that, but I also helped him financially.
All right. So you gave
buying,
him money.
Yeah, buying school necessary things like school uniforms, books, and then pens.
And then you saw the change in his behavior within a month's time. Is that
Within
true?
1 month time, the punctuality in the classroom has improved. The way he dress improves. So these were the first signs that I have seen in him.
Okay. So that's a good story you have shared with me. Now to go on to the next question, what are some of the remunerations, the benefits that you get as a teacher apart from your usual pay?
In teaching profession, we don't have so much of monetary benefits, apart from just a 15% of teaching allowance.
So 15% teaching allowance.
Yes, and then, but when it comes to the certification or recognition, we get certificate of appreciation for excellency in teaching.
Alright. So
And then,
so do you mean to say that all the teachers get that certificate in excellence?
not all the teachers,
Mm.
the teachers who could excel
Or teachers who excel in teaching,
yes,
they are awarded with certificates,
Certificates
to
by the-
recognize their
yes,
service.
yeah.
Right. So who awards these certificates?
His Majesty, the
Uh,
King,
Who?
the King of
Or the king awards the certificate?
awards, yeah.
Okay.
And then we get satisfaction when the students improve.
All right.
These are the benefits that
All
we
right.
have.
So
as a
when you
teacher.
see changes in students' behavior, you get satisfaction. So
Satisfaction.
do you mean that?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Thank you. We are coming to the close, to the end of the interview. We have two more questions. Do you believe that you are a good teacher?
I should definitely and proudly say yes, I'm a good teacher because I'm a hardworking teacher, and I use my knowledge to the best of my ability. And then I really love being with the children, hanging around with them, talking, teaching, learning from them. And yes, definitely,
So you mean to you support, you believe that you are a good teacher. You are a
yes.
good teacher, right? So the main reason you believe in yourself as a good teacher is because you are hardworking,
Yes.
and then you are sincere in the works that you are doing. Right. So we come to the last question. Is there anything I haven't asked you, which you wish to say to me, which I have not covered in the question, which you think I should know? Please let me know about something that I have not covered.
I think you have covered everything.
Okay.
But the one thing I would comment or suggest is to become a teacher, it is always good to know each and every student. So knowing the students will help to run this class smoothly, or in the year you will see a progress of students learning and their change in behavior. That's all.
So you are saying that as a teacher, you must know all your students
Yes.
personally. All right. Okay, Ms. Choki, thank you so much for your time. From this interview, I have learned a lot, and then I wish to see this kind of interview once again. If I get time, we may meet. I thank you so much.
Thank you.